So march in like a lion, out like a lion. They said there's 20% chance this morning. By 9 o'clock, it's over. It's after 9. So another episode of mall walkers versus internet shit talkers. Yay, I'm Joe Rogan. I'm wrestling by light. It's amazing what the sheep will fall for. Alex Jones is nothing but a war profiteer. Also, he does everything for money. So I'm going to dedicate this. By the way, they've come out and said straight up that they're using a new technique all over the state of Utah for cloud seeding. Get ready for flood. I just went over the river. It's at flood stage right here, right now, the Ogden. So another version of mall walkers versus internet shit talkers. By the way, there's a great bar in here. I don't go in there, because I don't drink. So I don't do anything anymore. I'm just what you call a goody two-shoe. It's disgusting. Actually, I used to hang a Bigfoot right down there. By the way, all you people, this is the Bigfoot capital of the world, the Bigfoot hunters. It used to be right here where we're at. So, rock and roll on one side, country and both kinds of music on the other side, country and western. Seriously, during this up to 1980, everybody's hunting Bigfoot right here in the Great Junction City. So, I got to tell you this great story because the last photo probably ever taken with men was right there by Kevin Blanche, 100 years old. Now, I'm going to dedicate this to the great, incredible Japanese American culture here at the Great Junction City, Ogden, Utah. So, took that picture with him at 100 years old. He was born on March 10th here in Ogden. So, yeah, the great coincidence. Now, what day did they declare the Emic? Oh, that's just a coincidence. They declared it on FUKUSHIMA Day. It was the 10th year when it happened. Smog in Utah. So, great coincidence era. By the way, this will take at least 8 hours to upload because they got me internet kettled, and this is how ignorant all the last 4 presidents have been. Trump goes crazy about shadow banning when he signed the bill to kill net neutrality. Net neutrality destroyed people like Kevin Blanche. And then he come out after he's the guy that created shadow banning. God, you know about the shadow banning thing? Look what they're doing when he's the guy who created shadow banning. All they have to do is veto it. Up is down, black is white, wrong is right. All bummer, dumber. He was in the situation on the great coincidence era, Fukushima, when John Holdren, Emanuel, the whole nuclear energy crime syndicate took the field and orchestrated the greatest cover-up in human history, the greatest disaster, the great coincidence here. Everything March 10th. Nin was born on March 10th. He turned 100 years old this year. The great coincidence here. He was a gem. All the Japanese American. Here, and I'll tell you a great story about. I want to dedicate to them to the great diverse city that Ogden was. Incredible growing up here. Everybody was at the bars 24/7. They didn't care how old you were. Again, Bigfoot's right down the road. So people were free. People did what they wanted, and God, it was such an incredible place. So let the hares by you. I'm the tortoise now. So happy birthday, Vincent Van Gogh. It's March 30th. Happy birthday. So, wow, can you believe it's been 12 years? Wow. So, how did this happen? He was born and raised, just like Wat Masaka, the first player of color in the history of the NBA, Ogden, Utah. It's called J Street on 25th Street. So the Great Junction City, the railroad was coming here, of course. Everybody came to the boomtown. They were traveling by train like everybody had to travel by train. East, west, north, south. All lines met in Ogden. Who's the savages? Right up here was Jim Bridger and Jedediah Smith's fort. Right here. First, it was French, the first guy here. you know, and stole the indigenous people's land. We're Shoshone here, not you. You, top of the mountain for, that's a Ute word, right? Utah? Nope, that's slang. Idaho, sunlight racing down the front of it. That's Blackfoot. No, no, that's Bannock, right? No, that's slang. This was Shoshone, little soldier right here. Chief Cherokee right here. So a huge group of Japanese Americans were traveling by train. They got to the Great Junction City, 25th Street, massive, gigantic snowstorms. The trains were stopped for weeks. That's how big of the snow was there. Well over 100 years ago. So they all went up 25th Street like everybody, and they stayed. And so we had such a gigantic Japanese, born and raised in Ogden, so many of them. I will tell the best story about these guys. By the way, Min did his tour of Dirty in World War II. So did what? This is the best story. I gotta tell this story. My weights. Who knew I'd be a ball marker at 62? So, Watt says in his own words, living on 25th Street, born and raised on 25th Street. Going to high school, he'd walk up 25th Street. He's in school in 1941 with Pearl Harbor. Teacher sent all the Japanese descent kids home immediately, like they did all over the country. He said he went to school the next day and never had a problem. He was never discriminated against one single time. And this great guy, come on, Ogden, you don't judge here. We've had every culture was here, every race was here, every orientation was here, there was more religious denominations here than maybe anywhere in the country. I mean, it was a great diverse city. People didn't judge here. So it's like, here, come on, walking. You know, bring all cultures together. You know, you got left wingers, right wingers, and the right wingers have lost their mind. I mean, it's like a cult. You think Alex Jones is there for money. You know, I mean, when there's people sending the checks from prison to Trump, Trump's like, it's become a Trumpism. Cult. Why would he give a speech in Waco and Waco? Why? You know, why? You think about that, what he's tapped into. Who was responsible for that disaster at Waco? David Koresh. That was one sick, demented puppy. That's one sick, demented creep. So, but the left is just as bad. They're called the Obamacans. So, I got to tell this story. I mean, I was in front of the White House on two different separate occasions, mutually exclusive of each other, two young preachers, different days at the Peace Vigil on there. They're preaching, calling Donald Trump their Lord and Savior. I go over there and I says, well, isn't that a kind of a stretch? When's he going to turn the holy water into wine? What? Donald Trump. And then I'm same time watching the election results, and there's an Obamacare there. You know, we're talking, and she's just ripping Kamala Harris for saying that she's not black enough. And I'm like, yeah, mother's, and then she went over, mother's Indian. And I says, yeah, from India, not the racist slang term they use here for indigenous people. You want to see racist? Mostly racist. Be indigenous. So I'm like, yeah, well, her father is from the islands there. Dr. Harris, the anti-trickle-down concept, her biological father, you know, the economics professor at Stanford. I knew her mother. I used to protest with her mother out at Livermore. She was the epidemiologist at Livermore. Then we go that for real. She broke ranks. She died of cancer in 2009. I said, well, neither was Obama. She's like, what? I says, Obama's mother was white from Kansas. Her father was such a totalitarian, not utilitarian, tyrant, that he required her name, he named his daughter, Johnny Cash on Balco on chemo. Sent a boy named, no, a girl named Stanley, named her Stanley. Teacher said that she was having issues with it, and so this teacher talked to the father about it, used her middle name Ann, and the father refused. By the way, the father and the mother and Obama is directly related, bloodlines. It's quite distant, but they are related to Dick Cheney. His mother, they moved. And when Pearl Harbor happened, Hawaii was not part of the United States yet, just like Alaska. That came later. So, his father didn't grow up from slave roots in the United States. His father was Kenyan, Harvard, just like Obama. So I thought she wanted to throw it out. Oh, don't you say anything about Obama. I says, why are you still loving Obama? What did he do for the left? He lost 12 Senate seats. It's all-time record. Yeah, it was 60-40 Democrats. He lost 12 Senate seats. Look what he did. He ran as a peace president. Was he a peace? Went off to Afghanistan to kill the Taliban. Went off to Iraq, get a bit of went off to Vietnam, get a bit. Huh? Really? This is indoctrination. That's become political parties. And we're really going to get a Biden versus Trump again? Jesus, they're both pathetic. They're both corporatist, nuclear energy puppets. So the great coincidence here is, so Utah had this giant Japanese culture here in Ogden. They were the most humble, fantastic people. So my dad was a famous potato farmer. He was so good looking and beautiful. I mean, this is my mom, the great pinup artist, Vargas used to say about her. Not only she could draw like a camera, she could draw better than me. She could be her own pinup artist. Married my father, she used to say, he looked just like Elvis with muscles. Never had a cavity in his life, never had a cold in his life, never had a sick day in his life. They drafted me, marching him into the test site, Air Blast 1. Fed him LSD after to try to alter them. He said they had prisoners in cages. Hey, how you doing? My old biology teacher in high school. He's a gem, man. You know what he told me about Min when he died? Min died this week in 100. Born March 10th, FUKUSHIMA. He gave me the peace sign. It's the last time I saw him. You know what Min told me? Or he told me, the biology teacher, about Min? Somebody says, well, what did he die from? I'm like, it doesn't matter. He's 100. And he said, the biology teacher says, perfect, right? Perfect. I'm like, yeah, perfect is right. Active 100. So the Sakamotos lived next door to us. My father was a row crop farmer, potato, and they were farmers for the most part all across the West. Everybody was. Del Monte was right over here, ketchup capital of the world at one time here. And I remember they used to have their son used to drive around about a 1951 truck, and he had it painted. He painted himself little black and white checkers, and it had this red writing through it. It was like the coolest thing in the world. When I was a kid. Oh my God, I want that. So we had this huge, diverse city, Japanese descent, born and raised here. Most humble, fantastic people ever. Watt Masaka, the first player of color in the history of the NBA, won 2 national championships. Weber State's so racist that why is his number not retired there? Born and raised in Ogden. The only national champions they ever won, and they will ever win. That program's pathetic. It's the same old. They hire the assistant coach under the Randy Red regime that's there forever, and it's the same old. Just like Randy, they want to go on vacation. They're lazy, overpaid coaches. They're disgusting. They got invited to both tournaments this year. They didn't go, just like that. These coaches want to go on vacation. They're pathetic. Weber State is the most corrupt institution, #1 school business in the country that I was heavily involved with. Just look it up. That professor and I used to go at it. Not stole, handed over and given to a repressive regime. They just handed it over to China. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable how it happened. They don't care. Why? So the most corrupt place on the face of the earth. You thought, bar none. So they were all roll croppers. You know, Watt didn't even tell his kids he played in the NBA. He had never known it. He was 5'7" jump hook. So, I've always said about Ogden, the most beautiful thing about Ogden, of course they're destroying Ogden. Anything always ripped to shreds. Tear down the Ogden Mall, children behave. That's what they say when we're together. Things that you say, because we're running just as fast as we can. So this is a rich, rich boom town. The Brownie fortune here, the Eccles fortune here, all of it, everything, all the way. I mean, just wealthy, probably the bluest district in the country. Yeah, District 1 now could be the reddest. How did that happen? It's like in 1979, someone pulled the plug. 1980, Reagan, the wave. Everybody packed their shit and left. It was like caravan, so everybody's gutted it out. Stayed here in the 80s, and the Reagan recession was ugly here. The savings loan scandal. Our mayor went to prison for it. Last bankster to go to prison. He went to a gentleman's prison to play golf. Mayor of Ogden. Not what savings. The savings loan scandal was paramount here in Ogden. It was a boom town. It just crashed. I used to call it Art Deco decay. Now I call it lipstick corpse. And they're just tearing everything down, ripping it to shreds. They don't know anything about the history. Just worst mayor in our history. We have the worst governor of Utah in our history. Gets caught bringing more nuclear waste into Utah. I mean, it's just it's corrupt from A to Z. The Weber State's turned into the most corrupt college institution in the world. The Weber County corrupt. It's so corrupt here. Those states so grotesquely corrupt, it's unbelievable. And from A to Z, the culture. How did that happen? So they pulled the plug and everybody left. So that last photograph is taken right there. So it's so they moved out of the Union Station. They just vacated out the railroad and everybody just stole everything out of it. Ripped it to shreds, that grand building. They're saying they're going to sweep and let's sure they are. The museum used to be there. They had to move it over here to the mall. Tore down the Ogden Mall. Well, they tore down all those artisan shops to build the Ogden Mall. They tore down everything in Ogden. So, it used to be such an incredible place. Incredible. So right over here, back here, where the railroad is, the Marsh Railroad, that's where Jedediah Smith and Jim Bridger's original fort was. The movie Revenant's based on their journal here in Ogden. William Glass, I love that guy. Oh my God, that guy was, how much was myth and how much was true? I don't know, but I think a lot of it was true. He was incredible. So everybody was always searching for Bigfoot right here. Bigfoot come down the Weber River. He was always in Riverdale. That's, the oldest community here. So Wasatch is French, right? For height. Cache up there in Cache County, French. Est-ce que vous parlez français? They were French. They were here after the fur. Weber, I got to tell you this story about Weber. So Weber came here. Before Weber was here was the Ashley 100, right? And they were out here getting fur. They worked for the United States government how about the marker right up here, the Kit Carson marker, the elm tree threw right through the center of it. Now, I tried to get him restored. I says, can I have it? Can I have it? No one would respond to me. It's still laying there in disarray. Threw away all the old redwood they built. Threw it in the dumpster for money. I'm like, can I have it? Well, I says, I'm not taking it without permission. I know how these monsters are here. They'll go after me. It's corrupt here. And so, by the way, the police shooting of innocent people per capita, capital of the world, right here. Ask Matthew Stewart. Ask Danielle Willard. Ask the young man in Farmington recently. Ask Double Lawrence, the old Davis County Sheriff, his son-in-law. So, Wasatch means hide in front. So these fur traders, they would get their fur and they would steal it and go hide in the mountains. hope these French agents, and they were here, Kit Carson was on here. How about Fremont? We named Fremont High School Fremont. Fremont was so nasty and evil that even the United States government stripped all his stuff. Yeah, they wanted to name Western Weaver County Fremont, these ignorant politicians and county commissioners here. And I stood up in the hearing and I said, no, no, no. I'm going to name after, and I just went off. And I'm like, I got a great idea. Let's name, because they wanted to incorporate the whole Western Weaver County. I said, let's rename West Weaver West Weaver. So they put it all to a vote. Guess what won? I said it was joking. West Weaver. So they weren't spending much money, which they did, to name West Weaver West Weaver. Yeah, it's insanity here. It's like the new high school out there. Okay? It used to be the wetland capital of the world. Ducks, swans, geese, muskrats, mosquitoes. So we all voted. I voted for the muskrats. And they're all gone. They were there when I was aboard. The tundra swans, gone. Everything gone. County commissioner, mega dairy welfare queen, drains off the marsh illegally. Army Corps of Engineers is in bed with these corrupt bastards. No one cares. They don't care about the environment. They destroy it. So we vote to name it the Taylor Ducks, which was originally called West Weaver, which before that was called the Big Bend in the River. That was when the first whiteys got here in my lines. I'm second generation. I actually go back even further. I go back to Potter on my grandmother's side. He was here in 1840. So we know what happened to him. Porter Rockwell. Whoa, and we worship him in the street. You know how many people he did? Whoa, but we worship that? Wow. So some woman stands up in the hearing from what I understand. Now, my own cousin is one that says, and it goes in the paper that we're going to name it Westfield. And then somebody says, Westfield, no, it was never named that. So I got it out of him. No, I found it on a website. It's a high school in Texas. What? And then some woman went crazy about the ducks. She says, oh, ducks. I said, oh, no. Did you tell that to the University of Oregon? That's what it's named. We voted. It won by a landslide. Second place was the mosquitoes. Third place was the muskrats. And she just says, no, no. And so they all scrambled. What about the longhorns? She brought it up. I'm like, you love Texas so much, why don't you go back? This is after they tore down Leslie Hodges' masterpiece, the Frank Lloyd Wright, West Weaver Elementary. Wanted to tear down Polk. Tried to tear down Ogden High. It was Leslie Hodson. My favorite is Lawton Soccer Gym on 25th Street. Deseret Gym. That's Weaver State's basketball court. Been vacant for 20-something years, like everything in Ogden is, including this mall. Okay. They even adopted Texas's colors. So it's going to be called the Westfield Longhorns. It becomes as natural as occupying a bird refuge. So, it's incredible. The ignorance here is over the top. It used to be this beautiful, diverse, incredible, intelligent, dynamic place. Amazing place. Like I said, it was incredible. Look at it now. It's the most corrupt. With absolute power comes absolute corruption. And Utah since 1980 is absolutely, well, it's just like it's red pill, blue pill. Red state, blue state, which is mind-boggling. There's no logic. Because Operation Foxconn News, MSNBC, television has indoctrinated people. There's no logic. It's a football game. It's Democrats versus Republicans in a throwdown. It's disturbing. They just check the R box. They check the D. They have no clue what these people know. They get up in the morning, these politicians, and let Fox do spoon feed on the right. I mean, Alex Jones said it himself. It's amazing. I talk about different stuff, and then Trump gives a speech the next day. I mean, it's red pill, blue pill. It's unbelievable. Indoctrination. So, Alex Jones and Jeff Rance and all the right wingers took on Fukushima. Why? Not for care about the environment. They hate the environment. They took it on to profiteer because their websites sell survival merchandise. They sell 1,000% marked up Patriot, who's here in Utah, marked up supplies that's marked up 1,000% on their websites. So I'm doing all that typo work, doing all the Fukushima. Why I'm in critical condition, I'm full of AML, leukemia, dying of cancer. And I have no money, I'm sleeping in a sleeping bag. And, even my doctor said I would die out there. And I'm doing all that work for all those years. And they're putting my videos on their website with their links right behind it to buy gear. Okay. Colin, you can look it up. Alex Jones asked twice, mutually exclusive, which is by two different people. Well, you use Kevin Blanch's videos and everything, Fukushima. Why wouldn't you have the world's foremost expert on Fukushima on your show? Well, Kevin Blanch is an activist, and now he's calling himself an activist. And another one did. Neither one of them ever sent me 5 cents. I did all that work for them. Think about that. It's just a lot of people did that to me. Some of my videos had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views. And Google came to me and says, we're taking away abstract views. What? Any view that wasn't on Google, that was on a newspaper website, this, that, the other thing, all over, in Japan, in Europe, we're not counting those. Okay, all right, whatever. Okay. So they're trying to shove my toothpaste back in the tube, put my lightning back in the bottle when I flip that bottle behind my back and shatter that bottle. So, dedicated to this incredible Japanese Americans who were born and raised in Ogden. What a great group of people. What amazing. Men was awesome. Made it, born on March 10th. So what day was the endemic declared? March 10th. Fukushima happened on March 10th. Huh. All this stuff that always happens March 10th. So the great coincidence. It's just coincidence, bro, right? The typos wipe out wasting disease. 2011, 2012, 2013. The present, the well collapse. The salmon, the smoking gun of Fukushima. The Chinook. Steelhead started to collapse, like Kevin Blanch said, immediately. Oh yeah, I don't have my still. It's too old. I have to get on my thick old powder mountain made in 1970 in Colorado. Rocky Mountain. This ain't Colorado. This is Ogden, Utah. We're not Salt Lake. We used to always say we're the Brooklyn to Manhattan. That's what Ogden is to Salt Lake City. I used to always tell my daughter, who's the fashion designer in Italy, from here, born and raised here, went to school here, in my high school. Ogden, when we were kids, was a lot like living in Brooklyn or Lower Manhattan. No. And Randy, Richard's my old attorney, told her that, and she believed him. They were born post 79. They don't remember any of it. It crashed that quickly and that fast. I used to call it Ogden, Utah. The Art Deco home, Leslie Hodgson. Doing all this great work here, the WTA capital of the world, right here, Ogden High School. Well, you ever been in that building? You ever seen the auditorium? Well, we used to call it, people here would say, $1 million building, 2-bit student body, 2-bit street. That's where on 2-bit streets where Masako was born and raised. Never once did he say he was ever discriminated against. So he tells the president of Weber State, I believe it was Dixon at the time, well, my cousins are being put in prison camps in California. All the Japanese rounded up all over the country at Santa Anita Racetrack. Do you know that's how Corey Nakatani became a jockey? He broke his leg wrestling, but he knew that story, and he was in Arcadia. That's where the internment was at Santa Anita. Did you know Santa Anita Racetrack and the fairgrounds close by there is the evacuation place for any accident, Diablo or Sinanofe? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna fit 20 million people there. Don't want to live in 79. Damn the torpedoes, Springsteen. He sold us down the river, didn't he? $1,000 a ticket. Remember, I hitchhiked all the way from Ogden to New York for that concert when 3 Mile Island happened. I hitchhiked all. I had to take one for the team. I have a staff shirt I got. That's how I got into the concert. Ooh, it's quite the story. That's how I was at the Peace Vigil in front of the White House and never really left. I've been there for decades and decades doing all that work. Thomas, that wasn't his last name. It was his first name. So, and so it was incredible then. We were anti-nuclear energy at 3 Mile Island. What happened? What happened? PR firms. And Google and places like that attacked the real. And so the half nukers took the field. Half nukers just destroyed us. All the half nukers on TV, Gundershield, Blake Barrett, he's going to save us. Okay. Okay, Helen, she's going to the half nukers. And the Plowshares, all of them. Megan Rice, Kevin Lynch. Megan Rice, head of Plowshares, Sister Snow at the trial. I'm sitting with Evelyn Tucker, the environmental economist from Yale, holding my right hand, the first Roman Catholic ordained female priest holding my left hand in the trial. Go in the front row. Megan Rice. I broke into White 12. I knew Madeline. That's how I met Hanukkah in that protesting with her mother. She lived to be, 96? Megan has recently passed away. It was 9 years ago right now. I was at the prison in Brooklyn where she's housed, trying to get her to talk to me. They wouldn't let me. Talk to her sister. I'll talk to her nieces in the Knoxville airport, and they both asked me, "Where's Carol?" Yeah, good question. Where else are these supposed book writers? They're not here. I says, "I am." Yeah, we know, Kev. Sister Snow at the potluck the night before. Bridge, Tennessee. I says, "You're probably mad at me." Why? Well, I threw you anti-nukers under the bus. Y'all went off. You guys, Plowshares always said we're okay with nuclear energy and technology. We just don't like the bomb. And she's like, "Yeah, you set us straight, didn't you?" I don't know. She says, "No, you're right, Kevin. I think you were sent by God." So all that work. So on the front row, Megan Rice, Timothy, she would call the prosecuting attorney. She's sitting in one of the greatest rants in human history. Timothy, on the stand. I want to thank you for putting an 85-year-old peace activist in prison. I want to thank the Obama administration for putting an 85-year-old peace activist in prison and turning down the heat to 50 degrees in a prison cell that was built to house prisoners for 3 weeks for nearly 3 years and almost killing me. I want to thank you for that. So when I get out, I can protest. So I have something else to protest. Human warehousing, privatized. By the way, privatized prison right here. Right here. The people that did that, well, Dr. Marco, who the Weaver State Field's named after, who I knew personally. Yeah, that's where he made all his money. Private prisons in Texas. Yeah, Wacko and Waco. So we're indoctrinated. We're going to really do Trump and Biden? Dumb? Bush. He's going to look at the kangaroos in Austria. Dumber or bummer? Dumber. March 17th, I never promised you a rose garden in the rose garden. Fukushima plume is coming up. Now remember, this is a guy inside the Situation Room with Axelrod, with Haas Cartwright. Make it so. Send the Reagan in. Radiate your own men. Kevin Lynch done all that work. Make it so. Haas Cartwright, the Joint Chief of Staff, going to be Marine, who was headed to prison. Obama vetoed that. The plume is coming over us from Fukushima, Japan. The experts tell us it is safe. No worry. No worry. No worry. He never mentioned it. I'll keep you abreast. I'll tell you what I know. He never mentioned it again until 2016, right before the election. His last days of presidency. Lame duck on Balco on chemo. Remember, his mother died so young of cancer, tragically. Why did his grandparents go to Hawaii? Because she was a banker, grandma. And Hawaii became a state. They moved there when Hawaii became a state. And you know that she raised him. Stanley, his mother, Anne, remarried. And she married a guy from Indonesia. Mama was living in Indonesia. And his real name, Barry, of course. And the parents had to go after her own daughter and her ex-husband to get Barack away. They raised him. The grandparents raised him in Hawaii. And so that's where apparently he lives. He's got the big mansion in Annapolis, I understand. So, on Jimmy Kimmel in 2016. Jimmy Kimmel. Is it true they call you in the middle of the night like Hillary said that call at 4 o'clock in the morning? Yeah. Yeah. Did it ever happen to you? Yeah. Like when Fukushima happened. Jimmy Kimmel. I live in LA. What's San Francisco? What's Fukushima? You know the typhoon. That old Bummer Dummer, he's my filmed in Ogden, Utah, Butch Chavez's bar, my old beat man for Blanche Plaster, with the keg on West 24th Street. He's in that movie. Dante's Inferno talked about go from the Serengeti to northern Siberia, Utah. Trump, Dumbest, the sequel film. Wish Dumb, a Bummer Dumber, Trump, Dumbest. Mixed with a B 17 times. First one, I was at the election there. I was there. First time. I was at the White House that night. It was the most eerie. You could hear the rats crawling around that night. It was that quiet. Because Hillary was all set up. People were set up, and you could see the air start coming. And all you could hear chant through the night real quietly was, you burning, you burning. That was the chant in front of the White House that night. That's what you heard all night. Bernie Sanders was an anti-nuclear, remember? Anti-nuclear energy. Pull the plug. Cut the umbilical cord. The nuclear energy tail wagging the puppets. Government president's dog. So, Trump, then he meets in Mar-a-Lago, playing golf, high-fiving with a bee, block out the windows. Some of the stuff that Trump said and did, you need to rake up the forest. California's the greatest drought in 1,200 years. By the way, more land burned in Idaho per capita than even California. The West burned for the last 10 post. Again, the great coincidence there. It's all coincidence, bro. Everything post-Fukushima. It's all coincidence. Acute collapse. The Chinook salmon go to sea for 5 years. I said they won't collapse till 2016. Well, they did. We have all the empirical data. We have it. It's called an outlier. We know something crazy changed in 2011. Oh, Biden. We're going to help the people of the great Northwest save the salmon in the rivers of the Colorado River. Oh, the Colorado River doesn't even make it to the ocean anymore. And it hasn't for years. Hoover Dam was built by Utah Construction. You know, the old water school business hijacked by China. Well, not even hijacked. They just handed it over. Number one school business in the United States that I taught at. I graduated at. By the way, I helped write at the Megan Rice thing with Kansas City 13, that broke in on the mound. They've been fighting for years and went to jail. And I helped write the judges. I'm tired of putting me in prison. I want answers to this nuclear question. I helped write the answers at the Megan Rice pile. And the judge let him go. Don Quixote on Balco, on chemo. We can't even, they had to write pseudo de facto pen name so that this Spanish king and queen wouldn't have them. They would execute them. So they all said they thought they were in heaven when they got to Southern California and Mexico. When Polk invaded Mexico City and put up the flag in Mexico City, Santa Anna's, all they got was Santa Anna's prosthetic leg. Santa Ana was about to settle anything in Mexico City. And people in this country freaked out. Taylor and the Klan, the troops, said when they got there, they thought they were in heaven. Same the Spanish said, Southern California, the Baja, San Diego, they said they thought they were in heaven. Well, it used to be heaven even when I was a boy. Not anymore. So did here. The Great Marsh is gone. Trained by mega welfare, Dairy Queen, dredged to the river. The suns, the swans, the muskrats. Going on. Who's the savages? So, I want to dedicate this to the incredible Japanese Americans born and raised in Ogden, Utah. The man passed away. He was a gem. I talked to him. The last thing right as I walked out, he died just a couple days later. Just turned 100 on March 10th. I looked at him, he looked at me, and he went just like this. Perfect. Low life. What a great, fantastic group of people. I was lucky enough to grow up here and be involved with them. All of them. It's over now. Do you know how to pick up the pieces and go on? Split open twice. AML leukemia 2011. The great coincidence there. 2011, 23. Wow. They named the emic on March 10th. You can't talk about that because Google knows everything. They know everything. They know where everything happened, everything. Don't listen to a guy who's got more experience and more credibility and more credentials than probably anybody in the world when it comes to the nuclear thesis. Mentored by Albert Einstein himself. Einstein never wrote that letter. He said it was the worst mistake of his life. They'd opened up his spigot on the Manhattan Project, and they never shut it off. Thus, Kevin Lynch, the post-ignorant project. For David versus Goliath, Kevin reached into the bag and he slung the stone. It's biblical. I'm Balco. I'm Chemo. Kerouac, Kevin Blanche. A recycled beatnik. Smells like spaghetti. Must be Ferlinghetti. I stayed up all night in a bookstore called the City of Lights. My daughter serving up a pint of plain at the Shamrock. Kerouac, Kerouac, smelled like spaghetti. Must be Ferlinghetti. Oh, the Futonium. Ginsburg on Balco on Chemo. I'm not a hippie. Never was a hippie. Well, I was a hard worker. I was a plaster hog and truck. My hand, let me open for me out there's things inside the screaming shell because I did the unforgiven. I saw Metallica in 1998 when they stole our store business on the football field at Weber Stadium in a rainstorm and lightning. Who knew that it was the end? Who knew that it was the end? From the great incredible city, the great Junction City in Art Deco decay, I call it lipstick on a corpse. Turn it all down. Turn it all down. March 10th, 2011. Everything that's happened since the great coincidence. Stan tuned. Picture Cole Miller. Dead tadpole jumping. Probably Beeman Blanche. Or record holder. I fight for her. She fights for we. From the sea. It's the ecology, stupid. Small Walkers versus Internet Shit Talkers. Podcast. March. Happy birthday, Vincent Van Gogh. In like a lion, out like a lion. March 30th, 2023.